a live writing session with Delores. And I'm here, honey. It is 11:04 where I am in Alabama, and we're just going to do a really quick live writing session. One thing I know I want to do differently in the future is to have scheduled writing sessions where we know exactly when we're going to go live, so you all can anticipate it. We have more scheduled, more intentional live writing sessions. Y'all let me know in the chat if you are interested in that. And what's a good time for you? Like for me, it's always late. I don't know why. Like even when I try to do this like in the daytime, it just does not work out. I think for writers, and I don't know, you let me know again in the chat if this is true for you, but it seems like we have I don't know, like almost like a time that is just best for us, like creative wise, it's just like this is a time that, I can do my best creative work and and it's always late for me. I want to say this started like in grad school. Yeah, like I want to say it started in grad school. It's just like I just noticed like it's best when the house is all shut down, everybody's, in bed or out or, whatever. And you don't have any real obligations or responsibilities at this hour besides sleep, you know. But when you're a writer, it's like sometimes these creative juices get to going at a certain time and it's like you got to go with it. So today I figured for this live writing session we can do a little multitasking. I am working on my Beacon site. I am revamping it with just a newer vision, more streamlined vision of what I offer, what I do, and how I want this site to be structured. It's I've had it for a little while, but it's been a like I can work on it in spurts. It seems um like I work on it and it may be months later before I work on it again, which is not good business. This is not good business sense, but but this is my reality right now, because I'm a pretty much a one woman show. And so everything happens, when I can make it happen, and so that's what we're dealing with right now. So this is a link in bio site that is excellent for authors and coaches. And so if you're interested, I do have an affiliate link here. Um, so yeah, you can let me know. In fact, I'll go ahead and copy it, throw that over into the chat. Um, Let me see. I put in here Beacons affiliate. Let me see if I can spell it, y'all. Is it with two L's? One L. Okay. Okay, and I'll just go ahead and throw that in the chat for you and get that on over to you. So it's right there in the chat. If you're interested in checking out the Beacon site where you can store all of your coaching materials, all your this is a really good link in bio site, but you could do all your digital products in here. You put links to your sites and all that good stuff. So as you can see, this really does need a serious like revamp. So I'm just gonna work on that a little bit tonight. What are you guys working on? Like, let me know, what are you working on? Let me know in the chat. What are you creating? Like we always do, child. You let me know what you're working on. I'm letting you know what I'm working on. We can hold each other accountable. And while we're working on this, I don't see any need why we need to be super focused. So on the other side of the screen, left side of the screen, I've got YouTube open, and we could just like let's just peruse what's going on in the algorithm. Let's like watch a couple of videos as we work and just see what comes up. Sometimes what I like to do when I'm multitasking, this doesn't require my undivided attention, so I can do that. So y'all let me know in the chat, what are you working on? I'm your accountability partner, child. Okay. So y'all need to let me know, child, so I can hold you accountable. You guys hold me accountable. And it's almost like we're just like in a virtual office space where we're all just kind of doing our thing, creating, working on what we're working on. And so y'all let me know what y'all got going on tonight. Okay, I'm gonna mute out and let's just see what's in the algorithm. We can start with this first one, child, because I want to know what the heck were these girls thinking by subway surfing. Oh my god, child. Okay, so let's get into that and let's work on this beacon site.
A tragic incident happened here behind me at this subway station on Marcy Avenue station here in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. But I did get the chance to speak with the president of Passengers United about safety concerns and ideas to combat subway surfing. Two teenage girls lost their lives early this morning after what investigators are calling a subway surfing incident at the Marcy Avenue Broadway station in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Police say it happened around 3 a.m. when the girls were unconscious on the tracks. They were pronounced dead at the scene.
The stupid things that people do for a viral moment.
Commuter Savannah Spirit, who rides the Marcy Avenue line every day, says the danger feels too close to home.
I would recommend not doing that because inevitably you're going to die. It's just suicide.
She says subway surfing has become a
Why I'm just getting started with this. I've been sitting here at this computer for maybe, I don't know, maybe an hour. Tell me why this thing is starting to glitch. It's glitching out on us, okay? Let me see. What the world?
tragic trend pushed by what's popular online.
I blame social media and the internet. So I think that it looks like a cool thing to do. And so they try it out, and then inevitably they get killed.
So far this year, police have stopped more than 100 riders from subway surfing. Since 2023, the NYPD has been deploying drones to stop subway surfers, spotting them from above in real time and allowing officers to stop trains at the next station to safely remove riders before they get hurt. Year to date, at least 3 people have died subway surfing.
We're devastated.
Charlton D'Souza is the president of Passengers United. He says he would like the NYPD to secure the doors between the subway cars and urges people to use the emergency intercom to report passengers walking between cars.
We want New York City Transit to put a lock on the doors, a mechanism to stop, to allow that wouldn't allow the young people to climb up.
The MTA and NYPD are pleading with riders to speak up and stop the trend before more lives are lost. We received this statement from NYC Transit President Demetrius Critchlow saying in part, quote, "It's heartbreaking that 2 young girls are gone because they somehow thought riding outside a subway train was an acceptable game. Parents, teachers, and friends need to be clear with loved ones. Getting on top of a subway car isn't surfing, it's..."
Condolences to the family, because you always want to extend condolences. But we got a whole new generation of dummies out here that have determined that it's more important to put your safety at risk to get a viral moment, which a lot of times that moment don't even pay no money. I'm going to be honest with y'all. In order for you to really make money on content creation and social media, and I'm going to have this conversation today on my Patreon live stream, so make sure y'all tap in. But in order for you to make money, you have to be a consistent person that gives value. And so when you see people risking their lives for pennies or for a viral moment or just for likes, it's so sad because it shows me the culture that we live in today. The culture that we live in is that people will do anything for clout. I mean, I've seen idiots, dumb people do all kind of dumb stuff. going to the hood, and some of it is fake. I get it. Yep, I know that some of it is fake, but some of y'all actually try some of this stuff out in real life. I'ma check somebody. I'ma put some, going up the escalator, and then I'ma rub a guy's girl's hand, or you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a level of disrespect that's just totally out of control, in my opinion, because nobody cares about basic human decency anymore. It's bad enough that we got situations where people are crashing out over political purposes and reasons, and more, false information that's being spewed, like what's going over in Chicago, in which, ICE agents actually helped the community by getting rid of illegal migrants in black communities that was put there by the current administration and Brandon Johnson and all of that. And then they tried to make it seem like, oh, black people are getting rid. It's bad enough that we got enough misinformation that's being spread. But now people, young people, stupid young people, and this is why parents need to will do anything for clout. I mean, I've seen.
Do y'all see what I'm talking about? This thing has not been glitching the entire time. But now that I'm live, what is it doing? I mean, this is ridiculous. Hold on.
Will do anything for clout. I mean, I've seen.
This is annoying. Let's try to continue. And if this thing keeps acting up, then I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm not gonna subject y'all to this foolishness. Okay. Ay, ay, ay. All right. Let me see. Now I'm wondering if it's like if I have too many windows open or something, Like, is it too many windows to the window? To the wall. Why am I like this? I don't know. Y'all, why is this thing glitching up on us? Let's see if we can continue and without any issues.
Idiots, dumb people do all kind of dumb stuff. Going to the hood, and some of it is fake. I get it. Yep, I know that some of it is fake, but some of y'all actually try some of this stuff out in real life. I'ma check somebody. I'ma put some. Going up the escalator, and then I'm gonna rub a guy's girl's hand, or you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a level of disrespect that's just totally out of control. In my opinion, because nobody.
Hey, y'all, I'm not going to do y'all like this. This is ridiculous. I'm closing out of this. And let's just listen to something. Because this is crazy. But it's probably because I have too many windows open. I think these apps, like some of these apps that I use, require a lot. And I'm just wondering if that's probably why it's acting like this. It's a lot of crazy stuff in my algorithm, y'all. Let's listen to this. This one says, "You hate your hair. Women furious in interview after hearing the truth." Let's listen to this. What is this, y'all?
What's the beauty standard out of all the races?
Y'all don't want the conversation for real, or do y'all?
I want to know.
If we're talking about what the actual beauty standard is, it's black women. But if we're talking about what society wants to portray, it's going to be white women.
Okay. So is that why like black women wear like the wigs that are straight?
No.
It was at this moment that he knew he f***ed up.
Black women are the beauty standard, and that's why white women are doing so much to look like black women.
Well, first of all, let's just get one thing straight right now. She's already aggressive. All right, so let's not try to pretend to be her friend in this conversation. Maybe she's maybe she's doing that thing like that you be seeing women do, where they purposely be trying to. I don't know what it is. I don't know if they think it's funny or if it's what they call like testing, whatever it is. I don't like what she just did, and it pissed me off. So I already wouldn't be her friend in this conversation.
Let's get that first.
Do you think that maybe white women want to be black, but also black women maybe want to be white too?
No, not really.
Just because like white women, they do like the fillers and the BBL.
Crazy how he just extended you an olive branch and you just wouldn't take it. Extended you it. I said maybe y'all both want to look like each other. You can accept that. All right.
That was in the skin tans, but black women do their hair that looks like theirs.
So it's just extensions.
What do you mean?
So it's like you're saying black women get hair just like theirs.
Yeah, the straight hair.
So okay, is straight hair just for white people only?
No, so I mean like other races, like Asians, white people. Because when we look around, black women don't really grow straight hair like that.
That's not true though.
Some of them do. It's a small percentage.
About the women that you're around. If we want to talk about percentage,
I want her. I want Big Bag. My fault, Big Bag. I want Big Bag to show me what woman she's seen. What black woman she's seen with straight hair.
Go Google that shit. See what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, man.
He grew out her scalp with straight hair. I bet you the closest thing she don't do is find a mixed lady. And she's lighter than like Stephen Curry. Or she got to go outside of America. Yeah, let that sizzle speak. She's got to leave outside of America to find this that she's talking about. Or she's going to try to say, oh, a Native American. That person, you mean a Native American? That's how crazy that was. Come on, man. This is wild what she just said.
I am a PhD student. PhD.
Don't care about your career.
So we can start talking about percentages.
Okay, so what's the percentage?
So you have a bias. The black women that you're used to being around have texture just like yours, have straight hair just like you. But there are black women that grow straight hair.
Yes, there are.
You didn't say a percentage at all. Tell me, what's the percentage then? If you got a PhD, I need you to give me numbers. I want her to tell me which group of black women have straight hair. Well, black people have straight hair. Like talking about like Somalians, Ethiopians? Who are you talking about? Because they even got curly hair. It's not straight. I need to know which one she's talking about. Because every Negroid person, even when you go into Asia, go into Asia, look at their hair. It's not straight.
Afternoon, out the room. Come on, bring it in there.
But I'm saying it's so small that it would be kind of dumb to use that in the argument to say that, oh, black women want to be like these people.
That black women want to be like white women.
Why?
Just because they wear their hair straight.
Are you sure about that?
Do you want to be a woman?
No.
You have earrings in your ears, in both ears.
But that's not for women.
Oh, so is straight hair just for white women?
It's not. Straight hair is for white women, Japanese women, Indian women, Africans, black people, jewelry. Every group wears jewelry. Now check this out. If you start wearing gold jewelry around your neck like you're stretching your neck, then he can say you're trying to look like that group. Who literally are trying to extend their neck, then we can use jewelry. But if you're just talking about just jewelry, the logic gonna make no sense. You just said women wear jewelry, so she thought that didn't make no sense.
Not for black women.
Just like jewelry is not just for women, straight hair is not just for white women.
But straight hair is indicative. I didn't say it was for white women.
It's the same logic.
No, I understand. But hold on, let me respond. I'm saying straight hair is for other races. Black women do grow straight hair. That is true. But
okay, he did say that, but you actually did also say black women are trying to look like white women. The fact that you said specifically white women is why she is to try to make this crazy argument. No, black women hate themselves. That's what you're supposed to say. You're supposed to say they don't like the way they naturally look, so that's why they keep doing it. Then she couldn't argue with this. You actually got to defeat that.
When black women do it, they're not trying to be like another black woman that they saw. They're trying to be like Becky on their TV screen.
No, if I get a 40-inch bust down, it's because I saw Beyonce or some shit with that 40-inch bust down.
And where did Beyonce get it from?
You think Beyonce's looking at white women for inspiration?
Yes. Who do you think her controllers are? That community? Oh, you don't think anybody's controlling the music industry?
Well, he's got an agenda here.
Am I wrong? I'm wrong.
That was just a deflection. Miss Natural, I was going to actually not mention you, but now you're just trying to find a way out of this conversation. Beyonce clearly keep trying to look like somebody else. I don't like y'all. She has a PhD. That's letting you know that means nothing.
Again, that's another bias.
But am I wrong, though?
Just because there's a large number of music executives who may belong to the community does not mean that community is running the music industry.
They very much are.
That part right there is actually true. They are running the. I thought she was gonna say because they're doing that don't mean Beyonce is trying to look like them. I thought that was gonna be our argument. But what you just try to argue made you seem crazy.
Look at the
change. The real writers of some of these songs, like Ed Sheeran, "Shape of You," who helped write that. Candy Burris, Real Housewives of Atlanta.
But I'm saying everything still has to go through a filter.
How's the writer?
She's been writing a lot of your pop stars' faves.
Why do you think Lauryn Hill gets so scrutinized, but other artists don't? Right? She speaks the truth, and she wears her natural hair. But Beyonce, she wears straight hair, and she tries to dance around like a little white woman.
Beyonce really
and she's straight
hair.
Huh?
Beyonce Have you not seen the Cowboy Carter promo? She's got box braids. She's got curly hair.
Hey, let me just check. Beyonce, that's crazy. First picture that showed up, she had straight hair in her head. That was crazy. Straight. She's so dumb. You're so dumb. You put Beyonce name in, all you see is straight hair. That right there is what happens when you argue with dumb people. She don't even know what she's talking about.
Have you not seen the Cowboy Carter promo? She's got box braids. She's got curly hair. She's got straight hair.
Like, she's always dyeing her hair. She got a nose job.
That curly hair she's talking about is straight. That's straight hair. You mean they did something to make it do the loose curls?
Make her nose straighter to look like a European? Come on. We got to be honest here. Am I wrong?
I have no evidence that Beyonce has had it. I haven't seen anything about Beyonce getting a nose job.
Oh, you got to do that research.
Would you say her Negro nostrils, Jackson 5 nostrils?
Right.
I'm like, what? She's very comfortable in her very black nose.
Why she get a nose job then?
Are you her doctor? Do you have medical proof that she had a nose job?
No, but I've seen evidence.
Her physician come out?
I've seen evidence on there.
Evidence.
It's not the argument. No one cares about this. It's about hair. The argument about the hair. Don't get caught up in this thing about Beyonce getting her nose done or what.
From her physician.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But there's evidence.
So nobody violated HIPAA, baby, to tell you that she got a nose job.
No, but she did.
Nobody violated HIPAA to tell you that.
I'm just saying that before we were colonized, black women were not straightening their hair. We wore braids, twists, certain Bantu knots, things like that. We never straightened our hair as black people before we came in contact with Europeans.
You know, white women also have curly hair, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're gonna bypass what he just said just to say nothing right now. And white women do not have kinky hair because once again, ain't nobody trying to use no absolute. Unlike you, this is general. What I can tell, you and your PhD cannot actually stay on track. Biggie Smalls might actually be retarded right now. I didn't even want to take shots at her, but she's already being disrespectful and rude this whole time. And that's crazy. People want you to be nice to a group of people or be sensitive to a group when everybody will want you to be sensitive to her, even though this whole time she's been rude. This whole time she's been rude. Everybody will want you to be sensitive to titties that hang low over here.
What's your point?
So how long do you think straighteners have been around?
For a long time. So, but what is your point, man?
Because you're saying that before colonization, black women weren't straightening their hair.
Oh, true.
Okay, do you think white women were straightening their hair that much either? Because their hair wasn't as straight as you think it is either.
You don't see how this argument means nothing. She keeps moving the discussion to nothing right now. So you're gonna headaches is happening.
Yeah, but I'm saying nobody.
I don't know why this is such a sore issue. I really wish, as women, we would just like honor each other, like regardless of the race and all of that stuff. It's like really you can see where seems to be at least a bit of an agenda to cause division. It's like, why? Like, I see things that I like that white women do, and I'll do it, if I could pull it off as a black woman, and I think they do the same thing. And I think it's really just us honoring each other and not like we're stealing from each other. And I don't know. I just wish that people would change their perspective on that. But let's continue.
Still straightening their hair. Like, nobody was doing that before the beauty standard was European.
So do you not think two things can be true? Someone can, let's say a black woman gets a nose job.
Right.
Glorilla just got one, okay? That's evidence. She has said that. You don't have any proof Beyonce got one. Glorilla just got a nose job.
All right.
She came out and spoke on it. She came out and she spoke on it, but she's still proudly black. Can she not still be proudly black just because she had a nose job?
Of course not.
Okay, so then why is it?
No, I mean, of course not. She can.
She can't be proudly black.
Yeah, exactly. 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 Because if you loved yourself, why would you get a nose job? Why would you want to make your nose look like a white person or Asian person's or Indian person's nose? Or not even Indian because they don't have noses like that. But you get what I mean.
No, part of the problem is you just said Indians don't have noses like that. You're assuming that only one.
And there you go. She's waited. She waited to grasp something because she's stupid. She didn't have anything to say because when a person messes with their nose or a person messes with their hair and do these things, you already do not like what you naturally look like. So then she has to grab something else.
Kind of nose belongs to a specific race.
That's why
Black
I said,
is not a monolith.
That's why I said you know what I mean because.
No, we don't know what you mean. We don't.
Okay, so what I'm saying,
we're having a conversation.
Why?
What you mean?
You're a liar. Miss Natural Hair over here, who's now pissing me off, she's a liar. You're not having a conversation to understand what you're saying.
Why would you make your nose look like another race's? That's the point.
But that's not what she did. She made her nose fit her face better.
So
she's making her nose fit her face better. Her nose fit her face better. The so-called Jackson 5 nose thing she was saying Beyonce have, that's what Glorilla has. You know what's crazy? Even when she's saying it, it makes her nose fit better. If you look at what I'm seeing right now, the fact that how wide this part of her nose is to her lip thing, she did not make it look better. All she did was make this part skinnier, but this right here, her nose to her lip ratio already goes against the golden ratio because they can't get rid of that. They can't make that right there.
He said the golden ratio. Oh my God.
Maybe they can, because I think they did it for Michael Jackson. She said that is Beyonce's nose. The lies she tell.
The way God put her nose on her face is not perfect already.
Glorilla still very much looks like Gloria. And she very much looks like a black woman. Yes. Her race
now what
is
are you talking
not
about?
ambiguous all of a sudden. The nose did not change her racial features.
So God isn't perfect.
Oh, now we're getting to religion.
Am I wrong?
We can get into religion. I study religion. Because I'm like, we want to get into religion. You don't know where we're from. I was like, you don't know
where are you guys from?
We don't need to. We don't need to get into that.
Don't say it. That sounds dumb what you just said. Why would you say you don't know where we're from? Where are you from? I'm not going to tell you that. Crack. That's crack.
Whole another lore.
All right. You guys got any last words for the people? They might like y'all, I think.
Just let black women do what they want.
There you go.
Same message.
Yeah, and I think if we're going to critique black people for being colonized, we need to also look at the ways in which white people are also trying to emulate.
I can see the logic in what she's saying. Leave people alone, right? But also no. Also no. Because it's just not how the world works. We all do affect each other in one way or another, especially when, people are seeing toxic belief systems, toxic behavior and stuff like that. And it's how are you allowed to even say anything about that? I don't think people are aware of just how much their behavior affects other people, even the way they think and the way they move. Let's finish this. It's almost over.
I just think y'all need to stop doing lip fillers. And we always are. I just feel like black women are constantly criticized for any and everything we do. Our existence alone, we breathe the wrong way. We do something too nice. It's just always being criticized. And so I think that at the end of the day, black women need to be allowed to be black women because we're always criticized. And if we are going to criticize someone, white women have a lot of shit that we can start listing off on. Then if we're going to criticize women, at the end of the day, it's a lot of misogyny against black women.
Thank you for watching the video.
Thank you. That was what she was saying meant nothing the whole time. Big screen. Hey, yo, man. That right there was annoying what I was listening to. They did not have an argument. They didn't care what they were saying. She said Beyonce barely wears straight hair all through the pictures. Put Beyonce name in. Straight hair. That's all you see. And then said she had a Michael Jackson nose. The Jackson 5. No, she didn't. Glorilla still looks like Glorilla. What that's supposed to mean? What kind of argument was that? That's not the argument. And then the argument was about hair. Why did y'all start talking about noses? I would have never did it. I would looked told him and me like, what are we talking about right now? Can we go back to the fact that I know that black women don't want to look like themselves? You do know that white women like have curly hair. So you're saying that curl pattern that they have, black women have that curl pattern. Because I know that's why you bounced off that argument. Because Miss PhD, aka Miss I don't know what I'm talking about, or Miss Pizza Ham and Doritos.
All right, I've heard enough of him. Let's listen to this. This one says, this is what cultural racism really looks like. Let's see.
Creating stickers calling out multiculturalism, creating stickers calling out anything should not result in 2 years in prison. But least of all, stickers that are actually true.
You think we're supposed to be afraid? We're supposed to be afraid of your black ass?
All right, guys, I have something super offensive to say. And if you have been programmed by the mainstream media, I can assure you, you probably will be offended. Okay? And I'm just going to apologize in advance because that's what you have to do. You have to apologize even when you do nothing wrong. But here I am. I'm going to say it anyways. And it's absolutely horrifying. Are you guys ready? It's okay to be white. Oh my gosh, somebody call the cops. Come get me, come lock me up. Because I said it. We live in a world where saying something like it's okay to be white, a sentence that literally just affirms someone else's existence, gets treated like it is a hate crime. But you can scream you hate white people and white people are white supremacists and get a blue check mark and a brand deal with no consequences. To be clear, this episode isn't about white supremacy. It's not about hate. It's not about it's about a blatant double standard we're all supposed to pretend like it's not happening. Because the truth is, if any other race said it's okay to be black, per se, the world would nod and say, yes, you're right. They would affirm it. But when white people say it, suddenly it is white nationalism. Suddenly it's dangerous. So we're going to break this all the way down. How being white has been criminalized, how anti-white hate is being normalized, and how a generation of people is being psychologically trained to hate one group of people in the name of equality. And we're going to start with the phrase that triggered the whole thing. It's okay to be white. Not superior, not better, not more important, just okay. Apparently, even that's too much. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I am Carmen JC. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you are new to the content. I am not here to lie to you. I am here to wake you up. Let's get into it. So how did we get here? What made me wake up and be like, oh, we got to talk about anti-whiteness? Well, the reason why is because of Sade Perkins. You got her spewing a whole bunch of anti-white rhetoric. And quite frankly, I don't think most people believe anti-whiteness is a real thing. I think the concept doesn't even register in people's mind. But luckily, you got me here who likes to run her mouth. So we're going to talk about anti-whiteness. Now, I'm not going to spend the whole segment talking about her. I will definitely get to her later. But let's be honest. When you got someone spewing the most anti-white racism imaginable, I think people are going to start standing up. It made me stop and really think, like, white people are being attacked. White people aren't allowed to be proud. White people aren't even allowed to be white in their own country. And this is where the episode begins, because believe it or not, it's okay to be white wasn't originally some Klan slogan or some white supremacist like chant. It was bait, literal bait, a social experiment. If you don't know what 4chan is, it's basically an anonymous online forum known for being raw, chaotic, and sometimes intentionally provocative. Think of it like the internet's unfiltered basement. That's where the campaign was essentially born. The goal was to say something completely neutral, just 5 words. It's okay to be white, and watch the world lose its mind. And that is exactly what happened. Colleges freaked out. The media spiraled per usual. Schools launched investigations. Politicians made statements. You think somebody set off a bomb in a civil rights museum. That's how, like, serious this was taken. Just, it's okay to be white. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what all the craziness is about. Take a listen.
Here's the lead of an actual Washington Post story. Quote, flyers saying it's okay to be white were found taped to the exterior doors of a Maryland high school Wednesday morning, apparently as part of an effort to spark racial division, unquote. Officials at Montgomery Blair High School in suburban D.C. say they ripped down those signs, called the cops, and are investigating security footage to find the monster who did it. The sentiment, it's okay to be white, is now a hate crime. Okay, so what's the correct position? That it's not okay to be white? Being white, by the way, is not something you can control. Like any ethnicity, you're born with it, which is why you shouldn't attack people for it. And yet the left does constantly, in case you haven't noticed. So who's sowing racial division here? They ought to stop. These things never end well.
This is real. You had principals emailing parents like there was an active shooter on campus over a flyer that said it is okay to be white. That's how emotionally fragile and mentally unstable the culture has become. Meanwhile, you can hang a Black Lives Matter banner in a classroom, paint a rainbow crosswalk on Main Street, and write all cops are bastards in your TikTok bio, and nobody bats an eye. But it's okay to be white is where society draws the line. Let me make a comparison even clearer. You can say Black Lives Matters, trans lives matters, dogs lives matter, but you can't say white lives matter. Not to mention the phrase is white lives matter is actually trademark. That's why you can't buy a shirt that says it on Amazon or Etsy. Believe me, I've tried, because Two Black Men owns the trademark, and they've said publicly they did it to stop people from using the phrase, not because it's violent, not because it's hateful, just because they disagree with it and it doesn't fit their narrative, essentially. Take a listen to this clip.
We want you to meet two Black radio hosts from Arizona who are taking action to stop the spread of the phrase white lives matter, which is often used by white supremacist groups and has been called a racist response to the Black Lives Matter movement. The Anti-Defamation League called it a hate slogan, and it most recently popped up on T-shirts designed by Kanye West.
So these radio hosts trademarked the phrase. Ramses Ja and Quentin Ward host the nationally syndicated weekly racial justice radio show Civic Cypher, and they join us now. Gentlemen, great to see you. So, Ramses, let me start with you. What do you plan to do with this trademark of White Lives Matter?
Well, at present, we plan to do nothing. Nothing is plenty, as you can imagine. We have lawyers advising us on how to best protect the trademark. So it will not be used to hurt, harm, trigger any people. And as long as we are the people in the position to decide how it is used in commerce, we will do our best to minimize the effect that it may have on people.
So, Quentin, just explain that. So you by design don't plan to do anything with it, and that means that nobody else can. Is that the point?
At present, yes. We and just to make it clear, we didn't purchase or pursue the mark. It was actually assigned to us by one of our listeners.
I'm sorry, but this is America. In America, you should be able to say white lives matter because they do. And this isn't just happening in America. Let's go across the pond to Britain, where a man named Sam Malia was arrested selling stickers that said it's okay to be white and white lives matter. Let me repeat that. No threats, no violence, just stickers on paper.
Sam Malia has been sentenced to 2 years in custody.
Sam Malia should be released immediately. He should be released immediately. He should be allowed to attend to the birth of his child because his wife's currently pregnant.
Creating stickers calling out multiculturalism, creating stickers calling out anything should not result in 2 years in prison. But least of all, stickers that are actually true.
Sam's wife, Laura, is 8 months pregnant, and Sam will now be in prison for the birth of his second child. What a travesty of justice, that from Keith Woods.
We're defending free speech, the cornerstone of any democracy and liberal society, and without it, we're on a one-way trip to a world where legal political beliefs could land you in prison.
The judge also admitted that no hate crimes were committed as a result of this. Right. What this is a political jailing. I mean, frankly, this is how this should be considered.
He should not be in jail. Yeah? He should not be in jail.
2 years in jail for posting stickers online.
that say our borders are open, we're being replaced. Stand up for yourself. That's why they want you silenced, is because you're good people standing up for yourselves under attack, and people resonate. That's why they want to silence you.
They raided his house, went through all his electronics, and tried to find something criminal. They found nothing. So what did they do? They dug through his phone, pulled out text messages from 5 years ago, and said, oh, well, look, this one right here is kind of racist, so you must be guilty. That is the standard now. No crime, just thought policing. They couldn't charge him for what he did, so they punished him for what he thought. Meanwhile, you can chant death to white people on TikTok and get a Nike sponsorship. It's totally fine. It's okay, nothing to see here. Now, to be clear, this isn't about white supremacy. It's about racial division. It's about breaking America down from the inside out. It is manipulative, it is coordinated, and yes, it is very disgusting. However, the most disturbing part of all of this, most people know this is wrong and they say nothing. But I'm not one of those people. Let's go a step deeper, because this isn't just about posters getting ripped down or people getting censored online. This is about white Americans dying and nobody's saying a damn thing. Let me introduce you to a name you probably don't know, Daniel Shaver, an unarmed white man that was shot in a hotel hallway on his knees begging for his life. He was shot 5 times with an AR-15 by a cop. Where was the outrage? Where were the protests? Where was the candlelight vigils in a moment of silence? Nowhere, because he was white, and that didn't serve the narrative. White trauma is not profitable. White pain is not trending. To be clear, I'm not going to do a full breakdown of Daniel Shaver here because I've got a whole episode coming, and trust me, you'll be sick to your stomach when you see what really happened. But for now, just remember, if Daniel Shaver had been black, his name would be on t-shirts, murals, and he would have a Netflix documentary. Instead, he's a ghost on YouTube, and he's not the only one. Tony Tempa, a white man with mental health crisis, pinned face down by Dallas cops while screaming, "You're gonna kill me." And guess what? They did. And they laughed while they were doing it. No murals, no hashtags, no GoFundMes. And the same thing happened to Kelly Thomas, mentally ill, homeless, beaten to death by the police in Fullerton, California. His last words was, "Dad, help me." And again, nothing. So let me get this straight. We're told white people run the country. We're told they have all the power. We're told that they're the problem. But when white people get murdered by the state, it doesn't even make a headline. If white people are truly running everything, then where is the justice for their own people? I'm a little confused by this. This is completely confusing because I'm told that white people are white supremacists and they are doing everything to stop black people, but they're not making sure their people okay. It doesn't fit. Oh, that's right. They're white, so their pain doesn't matter. This isn't just silence. This is selective empathy. And quite frankly, it is disgusting. Because if your moral compass only works when it's politically convenient, that means you don't have one. So next time when someone says white people have all the power, ask them who Daniel Shaver is. When they stare at you like a confused goldfish, you'll know the truth. White people aren't running everything. They're just the only group you're allowed to hate publicly. But not on my watch. So if you've been watching my channel, you already know who Sadie Perkins is, the so-called diversity director who laughed about white girls going missing from Camp Mystic. Yeah, that's where we're at right now. And just so you know, she didn't walk it back. No apology, no accountability, nothing. In fact, she doubled down, then tripled down, okay? To be clear. But I'm not going to waste my screen time on her again. We're going to flip the lens because what matters here is the response. And white women, they're not staying quiet about this. They are not happy, and I don't blame them. Let's take a look.
To all of you people who are posting my criminal record as if I didn't know I've been in jail before, let me tell you something. Those charges are real. Okay? All those assault charges, real. Which means I will not hesitate to kick the dog shit out of any one of y'all. All right?
So what you think, Tootsie Pop? You think you're the only fucking bitch that's been in jail for fighting, huh? I'm double your age, and I will feed you to my pigs. You understand? Well, you think we're supposed to be afraid? We're supposed to be afraid of your black ass sitting there in your NWA t-shirt? Ninjas with attitude? Is that the politically correct way I'm supposed to say what you are? The only thing you got going on that fucking t-shirt, pumpkin, is the first fucking letter. That's it. You're deranged, you're disgusting, and there ain't no coming back from what you fucking did. You can take your little white whipping boy and shut the fuck up. Your best bet would be
Oh my
to
God,
close
the
your fucking
language.
mouth. Trust me on that.
Now let's be clear. Do I promote violence? Absolutely not. Do I understand the anger? Absolutely. Because when you mock the disappearance of children, when you laugh about white girls going missing like it's some type of cosmic payback, that is not just racist, it is demonic. And quite frankly, if someone threatens to feed you to their pigs, you probably earned that energy. Now let's flip the script. If a white woman had made the same comments about missing black girls, CNN would be live streaming the public apology, and Al Sharpton would be already on a flight to wherever he needs to be to play victim. No outrage from the DNC, by the way. No sudden wave of celebrities posting black squares on Instagram. The only people calling this out are normal Americans with common sense, the ones who still believe in basic decency. Now let's roll the second clip. Another white woman, calm, composed, and dropping straight truth. Let's take a listen.
A flash flood struck Camp Mystic, a girls' Christian summer camp. 15 have been found dead so far, and 27 are missing. Sadie Perkins, a black former appointee of the Food Insecurity Board for the city of Houston, helping secure free food for blacks, posted a video claiming that no one should have sympathy for these little girls because they're white. So she's saying little white girls deserve to die because little white girls just can't be friends with other white girls. And because their parents don't want to be flooded with hostile invaders, she said maybe it was God's will to wash the little cunts away. Is the black community disavowing her and stating how white people have a right to exist? Hell no. This wasn't a whites-only summer camp. I wish those openly existed. We need safe territories again from hostile anti-whites like Sadie. She went on to say how these little dead girls are getting so much coverage and rescue efforts just because they're white. Yeah, tell that to the whites during the North Carolina flood, who were basically on their own for days until other white people showed up to help. Yes, it's always white people doing the saving of everyone. If it were non-white girls at this camp, we'd see race and racism mentioned countless times, but not one mention that these girls are white unless in a derogatory way. She hates us, yet she also has a problem with white people living together in an enclave. Good, I hope there are intentional white enclaves forming in Texas, lots of them. It's natural and healthy for white parents to want their white kids to grow up with other white people like them, free of anti-white hate, lies, and replacement against our will. Meanwhile, how many sacred spaces for minorities exist? They have their own countries, and now they also want white countries too. It's high time white people tell the Sadies, we don't give a damn what your big fat mouth says. We are going our own way without you. We don't need your permission. We don't need disclaimers or a black friend to make it legit. Call us your tired names. We don't care. We will not live with people who hate us, who want us gone, who are destroying our towns and countries. Of course, when Sadie got called out for checking her own bias, she shouted, racist! Her husband Colin probably coached her. Now, before you say he's a white guy, actually he's a Jewish commie and pastor of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston, which is basically just a wacky cult spewing nothing but a bunch of anti-white, feminist, gay shit in a church pretending to be love. There's one thing I agree with Sadie on. White people, you don't need a black friend. You don't need a token, an exception to the rule. You need racially conscious white friends. No matter what whites do, it will never be good enough. Anti-whiteness has been so open, accepted, and promoted that Sadie felt comfy revealing her true feelings on race. Not even a shred of sympathy when innocent white girls drown in a flood. How do you think this is going to turn out when your kids are a minority? It's time to put your people first, just like everyone else does.
Now, people are just very frustrated. I don't think she is trying to be hateful. I think she is being logical. It's okay for white kids to be around other white kids. It's okay for white families to live in white communities. It's okay for white people to not want their children to be brainwashed with shame, guilt, and generational blame. And the truth is, every other race is allowed to have pride. But when white people say, hey, I'm proud of who I am, suddenly it is a genocide. Let me make something very clear. White Americans are tired of being treated like outsiders in their own country. They're tired of being guilt-tripped for crimes they've never committed. They're tired of being emotional punching bags for every movement. And they're tired of people like Sadie Perkins mocking their daughters with no consequences. And now I'm going to say something that most people are too scared to admit. If white people ever truly pulled out of the Black community en masse, we'd collapse. Black people would die without white people. And quite frankly, they're our only allies that we have in this world. Africans sure as hell don't like us. And quite frankly, they're the ones that sold us into slavery. And if you really think about it, we don't produce anything, we don't own anything, and we damn sure do not know how to live off the land. And with all the dysfunction that is coming out of our communities, I don't think people will want to help us. We as a community need to change our worldview, and we have to be accountable for the things that is happening within our community and actually come together and do something about it. This toxic relationship that we have with white people and this built up anger that we have against them, it needs to come to an end. I'm telling you guys, the people at the top is loving this. As we stay distracted, they destroy our country. True Americans do not care about race. And if you are a person that cares about race, then you are a part of the problem. We live in the greatest country in the world, and there's people out there that would die to be in our positions, and there's people out there that do die to try to get here. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, united we stand, and divided we fall. Let me explain exactly what I mean. We're not just talking about Black excellence here. We're talking about infrastructure, mass food production, energy supply, transportation and logistics, engineering, water systems, nationwide agriculture, distribution networks. To be blunt, we don't run any of that. We don't have anything near that. We probably don't even know what to do with it because we are not self-sufficient. So no, it's not enough to shout, we built this country, if you can't build a damn garden in your backyard. The Black generations before us had dignity. They were resilient. But this generation, we've got TikTok, trauma bonding, and a bad attitude. So now we don't have the infrastructure, we don't have the mindset, and we sure as hell don't have the unity to replace what white America provides. Now, to be clear, in the second clip, the woman mentioned that her husband isn't white, he's Jewish. Some people tried to use that as a gotcha, like, see, she's married to a white guy too. But I want to clear this up. There is a difference between a white Christian American and people who might look white, but operate from a completely different ethnic culture and religious identity. Let me be honest, this is not about hate, this is about accuracy. So I'm about to drop a clip of the great Mark Dice because he breaks this down perfectly. Take a listen.
Jewish communities have been pushing the exact kind of hatred against whites that they claim to want people to stop using against them. Now, I don't like generalizations. Not every Jewish person believes that. But it is true, the Anti-Defamation League was part and parcel with Black Lives Matter. It is true that some of the largest financiers of left-wing anti-white causes have been Jewish Americans. They went all in on woke, and it wasn't just ADL. It was some of the top Jewish organizations in the country that have done that.
And if you're still having a hard time understanding what's going on here, I know some people are just a little bit confused still. Here's John John Stewart. John Leibowitz, who goes by the stage name of John Stewart, explaining it further.
The Jewish community and the Black community, we should be together. Jews and Blacks we shouldn't fight, but there shouldn't be tension. Jews and Blacks should get together and get whitey.
Well, what happened there is most of the audience doesn't understand the distinction that Mr. Stewart is making, that many Jews often do make between being Jewish and being white, because most people think that Jews just, quote, are white. And if you still don't understand what's going on here, here is Ben Shapiro denying that he is white.
Not to do it systematically, but fundamentally there is an issue with the fact that we are not fully represented. Like, the entire population is not represented. We have never had a Black female president. I still have to pay taxes. The whole concept is no tax.
He said, we've never had a Jewish president. Who cares? So this diversity-obsessed woman wants, everyone in Congress to be divvied up by their race, and an equal number of members of Congress versus the ethnic groups in the United States. So then Ben Shapiro says, well, we've never had a Jewish president, et cetera, and then goes on to say this.
Taxation without we have had a white male president. We've had like 45 of them.
Whether Jews count as white or not has been sort of an object of debate for quite a while. We do. Okay.
You do.
So, it depends according to whom, and that's a pretty recent development. Okay, so
basically everyone. It's a religion.
Judaism.
Do you not agree that you are a white man?
I mean, I think that it depends on the context in which you're discussing it.
So what are you, Ben? Are you not a white guy?
I mean, I'm a man of Jewish ethnicity, which is sometimes grouped with white and sometimes not. I mean, that's a more accurate way to put it. But
actually, a more accurate way to put it would be when it's convenient and beneficial for you. Then you, well, you know.
Okay, so why am I even saying all this? Because white people are tired of being lumped in with every group except when it matters. They get blamed for things they didn't do. They get associated with elite power structures that doesn't even represent them. And then they try to speak up. They're told to shut up, take it, because they have privilege, white privilege, that is. Meanwhile, the very people they're being lumped in with, half of them don't even claim them unless it's politically or financially convenient. So let's call it what it is. There is a difference between regular white Americans who built this country with their bare hands and elite power players hiding behind the same skin tone while operating from entirely different agendas, loyalties, and institutions. This is not about division. It's about honesty. When people say it's okay to be white, they're not talking about billionaires and banking towers or Hollywood execs playing God. They're talking about regular white Americans in your grocery store, working class people that just want to raise their families and be left alone. And they deserve that pride just like everyone else. So again, let me be loud and clear. It is okay to be a white Christian American. That's what this country was founded on, not to erase anyone else, but to acknowledge what's real. America is still the greatest country on this planet. And if we want to keep it that way, white Americans deserve pride, respect, and protection too, because mutual respect only exists when everybody is allowed to speak the truth, not just the most offended group of the weak. And quite frankly, the only way this country is going to ever be able to survive and keep thriving is together. We cannot let people continue to separate us and tell us that white people are our enemies or black people are our enemies. No, behavior is the enemy. Not being with God is the enemy. It is a spiritual war. And if we all don't come together, we're going to lose. So if you've made it this far, let me just say this. You are not crazy. You are not racist. You are not a bad person for saying something as simple as it is okay to be white. You're just living in a society that punishes common sense and rewards dysfunction. Because let's be honest, this isn't about white supremacy. It is about white submission. They want you quiet, they want you ashamed, and they want to erase you from your own country while calling it progress. But here's the truth. You don't get unity by pretending white people don't matter. You don't get justice by erasing the people who built the roads and grew the food and fought the wars. You don't build a better society by silencing the group that built the one you're living in. So yes, say it. Say it with your chest. It's okay to be white. It's okay to be proud of your heritage. It's okay to push back when people spit in your face and call it diversity. Because this country only works when everybody is allowed to have pride, not just the most performative or politically useful group. And to every white American watching this, don't let them guilt you out of your voice. Don't let them shame you out of your identity. And don't let them rewrite history just because it makes weak people uncomfortable. You don't owe anyone your silence. You owe your children the truth. You owe your ancestors your courage. And you owe yourself the right to exist unapologetically. But this isn't just about pride. It is about survival. If this culture keeps spiraling where pride is criminalized and delusion is celebrated, we're all going down. White, Black, Hispanic, Asian, all of us. So either we wake up now or we lose it all later. That is the message. That is the warning. That's why I said it. It is okay to be white. I am Carmen JC. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, drop a comment, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. I don't speak for the algorithm. I speak for the people, and I am just getting started. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are so awesome, and I'll see you guys next time.
Conscious culture, we awaken and we learn. Fire in our spirits, watch the system as it burns. Question every lesson, let the real truth return. We break the mold, and now it's our turn.
What did y'all think of that? I'm so tired of seeing all this racial stuff. It's just, I mean, it's just so surface level and so stupid, you know? But, you know, it is what it is, I guess, child. At least, you know, from my perspective, I just, I just decide that I want to be a better example of how things should be, you know? Like, I want to be that living example, living, walking example. And sorry, I just got distracted by something. Yeah, I just want to be like that, just that living example of, like how things should be, how relationships should be, how dynamics should be, how we treat one another. And it's really just kind of a shame that oh, yeah, so let me see what's next in the algorithm, child. Are y'all still able to hear everything okay? Look, this let's listen to this. It'll say, this says there's an upcoming attack on America, and it'll be worse than 9/11. A former CIA whistleblower, or former CIA officer, blows a whistle. So let's see what this is about, child, because we need to be aware of this type of stuff going on.
Now, how in the flying flip did we let him come into America and give a speech at the UN? Nobody walked out on him. Nobody turned their back on him. Nobody's even said anything about it.
Some of his soldiers are here on U.S. soil for a future attack.
Can you explain, like, what that is, what that means for America, and how in the world did he get them in here?
Their intent is there's a multiple terrorist groups supporting Al-Qaeda's plot, and they're all running different pieces and different cells for kind of a massive 9/11 style upcoming plot here.
That's crazy. What does that look like for America? Because you had mentioned before that they are coordinating terrorist sleeper cells in America, and they want to do an October 7th style attack. What does that look like? I mean, I don't think they could take people hostage like they did on October the 7th. Is it just a mass casualty situation, or do they think they're going to take land?
If it doesn't get forwarded, or pieces of this doesn't get forwarded, this will obviously be probably the biggest attack ever on the U.S. since Pearl Harbor.
Sarah Adams, welcome to the Officer Tatum Show. I'm excited to talk to you. And I feel like that people of your caliber understanding terrorism, counterterrorism, and things that go on in this country, especially with this guy that we're about to talk about, I think is invaluable. I don't think enough people are talking about the terrorism, the sales of terrorists that are already in our country. And this gentleman, Julani, or whatever his name is, Abu, I want to talk about him. He was the one featured at the UN where he got on stage and he had given a speech on behalf of a country, and nobody walked out on him. And there's rumors and reports that you can clear up for me and the audience that this guy was a part of a terrorist cell. He was a part of committing terrorism linked to Hamas to some degree. Can you talk to us about that? And I also want to jump to, after we deal with Abu, I want to talk about the threat of terrorism that already exists in this country underneath, the reality of what we know.
Yeah, so as a quick down and dirty, okay? Julani joined Al-Qaeda in Iraq right after we invaded, so around 2003. He ended up being like a senior commander, and he was leading efforts in Mosul, and he was doing a lot of those suicide attacks and those IEDs against the U.S. patrols, right? So he killed a lot of Americans during that time. About 5 years in, we detain him, and he goes to Camp Bucca. He gets released. He then joins back with Al-Qaeda in Iraq, and now it's led by Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Remember, Trump killed him and said he died like a dog, so most people know him. So he was then attacking U.S. soldiers, and in 2011, the Syrian civil war kicked off, and Baghdadi sent him to Syria to set up an Al-Qaeda group there. It was called Al-Nusra Front. He was attacking Assad forces, American civilians there, and American soldiers. That's when we put him on the most wanted list. Now, fast forward to 2017, he created another group. It's called HTS. That's the group that did this big overthrow of the Syrian government in November. And that's the group that's linked up with Al-Qaeda since December 2021, and they're providing terrorists that came to the U.S. homeland as sleeper cells. So some of his soldiers are here on U.S. soil for a future attack.
Now, how in the flying flip did we let him come into America and give a speech at the UN? Nobody walked out on him. Nobody turned their back on him. Nobody's even said anything about it. I thought that this was fake news. I was like, people, he probably looked like another guy that they're propping up and people just want to share stuff. But this is the guy that's responsible for American deaths, responsible for terrorism. And you said that he has now, with the organization he created, have sleeper cells here in America. Can you explain like what that is, what that means for America, and how in the world did he get them in here?
Yeah, really, really simply, starting the end of 2021, Al-Qaeda started plotting an attack here. So starting in 2022, they started sending terrorists here. The majority of them, as you can imagine, came over the southern border with fake identity documents. So let's say he sent a Syrian terrorist here. He might have a Turkish passport. He came over the border, so he's now here with a Turkish identity. Even if he was on a watch list, it doesn't matter because he's under a fake identity. Another way they did it is they used some of these fake identities and they went into other pipelines. One pipeline was kind of how we evacuated special immigrant visas from both Iraq and Afghanistan. So some of the terrorists went in those pipelines. Another pipeline is they came in different education programs like through universities, etc. So some unfortunately came here legally as well. And so their intent is there's a multiple terrorist group supporting Al-Qaeda's plot, and they're all running different pieces and different cells for kind of a massive 9/11 style upcoming plot here.
And people, I can hear their voices in my mind saying, how do you know all these things are true? Because this seems like something that our government should be on top of, they should be privy to, and it should be the number one threat presented, or at least the way that they should be investigating and thwarting. This should be like the number one threat that we should be concerned of. So how do you have this information and know all of these things that don't seem to be public?
Yeah, well, our government does know a lot of these terrorists came in. The unfortunate thing is they don't know the numbers. So when Director Joe Kent went through the confirmation process in Congress, he gave us some of the numbers. It's not all of them, but he said, hey, we know when we evacuated persons from Afghanistan, 1,400 of them were linked to a terrorist group. He also said, we know 600 people came in over the southern border through an ISIS pipeline. So he highlighted 2,000 of these terrorists, which is a small number, but it's still, he did say that publicly, right? So this is well known. Now, when we talk about some of these Syrian connections, they've already been involved in a plot. So the January 1st New Orleans attack links back to some of these HTS networks. The government kind of made you feel, hey, this was a lone wolf. That's actually not the case. His cell, Shamsuddin Jabbar, his name was, he was a former veteran who unfortunately ended up joining ISIS. His cell was led by the ISIS military commission, and the U.S. government did kill the head of that commission. They bombed him just this March, and he's gone now. The deputy head of that cell, his name's Khalid al-Shami, he is in Giuliani's Ministry of Defense. So think about it. He's basically running a giant unit in their military, be kind of like the head of our PACOM sent a terrorist cell to another country, right? So it's almost like an act of war if you really looked at it, because it is directly to his, Defense Department.
Why did they let him do it? Like, I mean, in your opinion, obviously you're not in their brains, but why did they let Giuliani speak in America? Like, does that show that we're weak and we're allowing this to happen, therefore our vulnerabilities can be exploited? Or is there a tactic to it? Or could we be the CIA track him and bug him, and they're trying to find a way to get him in so we can thwart his opportunity to do this? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's two pieces. There's a political piece, and then you're kind of bringing up an operational piece. The political piece is very, very simple. There's a strong effort for kind of a Middle East peace plan, maybe leading into something like a Nobel Peace Prize. And there's a belief they need to bring Giuliani, who's now the president of Syria, since he took over the country with a bunch of terrorists last year. They need him for this peace plan. So that's the political piece. Now, unfortunately, on the operational side, our Department of Defense is allied with Giuliani, and they're taking out targets for him. Unfortunately, they're selling it to the American people as, hey, we're doing these effective operations against ISIS, and they're not. Just this year, 2 times they said they killed the head of ISIS. He's still alive. They think they're taking out targets, but they're not. And they fell for the same ruse, unfortunately, in Afghanistan, where we're partnered with the Taliban. So it's kind of, we're just watching the exact same thing that happened in Afghanistan happen again.
Do you think it's intentional, or do you think it's incompetence? Like, is the President Trump and our forces, or CIA, and the people that can do all the dirty work and should have technology to understand all of these things, how can we continue to get bamboozled?
I think a little bit hubris. Nobody wants to admit they are falling for terrorist propaganda. I think there's a lot of people in our government, even within our Congress, that wanted to see some sort of peace in Syria. So almost like forcing it, even though he's already committed just this year genocide against Christians, genocide against Alawites. This is a guy who actually is one of the lead people who imprisoned and made all those Yazidi women be ISIS brides, and they raped them, kidnapped them. We saw the public displays where they sold them, right? So yeah, it's like a want for something. Like everybody wants like these bad guys to become good like us, and they can't understand that terrorists have one goal, and they're never going to be us. And I do think it's a little head in the sand.
Well, I'm gonna switch gears real quick, because you seem to be very knowledgeable about America's connections in all of these places. And, you know, I have been a staunch supporter of Israel. Obviously, I'm a big Zionist, and I'm not as privy to some of the back end things that have gone on. What's your thoughts on some of that? Because a lot of people complain that we should not be allied with Israel, and that they're a negative force to America, and all of those things. I mean, somebody who's seemed to be an expert like you, that know a lot about the involvement with Syria and Afghanistan, and I mean, is there any truth to any of those claims that somehow Israel is not really an ally of America?
Yeah, I really don't think that's the case. I'm obviously anti-terrorist. A lot of that comes in as a part of terrorist propaganda, unfortunately. What is a fact is the planning for October 7th started in March 2022. And actually, October 7th wasn't just a Hamas attack. It was planned by Iran, as most people know. Al-Qaeda was involved, and then the senior leadership of the Taliban. Now, that attack was basically a dress rehearsal for the big one coming to the U.S. homeland. So those terrorists trained in camps with those sleeper cells I told you that came here. So this is like one small piece of the pie. So the way I look at it is, hey, everybody Israel kills in this piece of the pie helps us. They've already killed, I told you how we killed one individual involved in the plot. They killed one of the Iranian brigadier generals involved in the plot here, right? So everyone they kill, as you can imagine, makes us safer, because they take out one more person in this pipeline. They took out the whole senior leadership of the Hezbollah Radwan forces. Again, that's very, very crucial. They were actually targeting U.S. interests as well, and they were involved all the way back to our Marine Beirut bombings. So the thing is, Israel has been incredibly effective against terrorists in the last 2 years. As you can imagine, to be effective against terrorists, you have to go a little scorched earth. We saw this in Libya. Terrorists took over the city of Benghazi after we left, okay? So there was a General Haftar. He had to go in and do the same thing. And in 2.5 years, he eliminated both Al-Qaeda and ISIS from basically all of East Libya, right? This is how you unfortunately have to do these operations. We don't always have the spine to do it, and that's why we gave it to Taliban back Afghanistan. Unfortunately, the U.S. doesn't play hardball in this way, but I do think it is effective against this enemy.
I'm glad you said that. I've been getting killed about Israel, and I don't know nothing. You know, I don't know much about the underpinning ideas that some of these people are bringing up. And then again, I had no idea where you stood on that. So, but I do respect what you have to say. And I wanted to know is like, what is this? Because I felt, like I said, not as knowledgeable as you, but I felt like that there's a reason why we have a strategic partnership with Israel. Everything I hear Benjamin Netanyahu say seems to be connected to some of the things that you're saying. Like, we have this partnership because they are fighting our enemy in the Middle East, and we give them billions of dollars in aid for military funding, which would make sense that we're using them kind of like almost like proxy to do these wars, and we're funding that. I want to get back to.
Can I bring up one thing about the funding, though? So the interesting thing is when we fund our allies, for example, in these cases, a lot of that is the money stays here in the United States. We buy the weapons and we fund them that way. So that's also how we kind of support our own military, right, through these sales to our allies, because you can imagine we can't just sell weapons to anybody. We have moral compasses. Some people use these weapons in horrible ways against their own people and for genocides and stuff. So we are very particular about our allies and who we give weapons to, but that money really filters mostly into us.
That makes sense. And yeah, a lot of people don't know that. Like they say, we give Israel $3.8 billion a year, but it's like, no, we don't just give them the money and let them go buy military equipment anywhere in the world. They have to come to us to use all of that money with us. Or at least in this year, I think the last year they have to use 75%. I think it's going to end up being 100% of that military funding. They have to come through us. And I think it's like a bank account. It's not even like a money given. It's kind of like they have a credit line through things that they, end up using this our military equipment, which brings economic, money back to the America and our national security. But I wanted to get to how is this gentleman Julani connected to Hamas? Is there a direct connection, or is it a connection through Iran and Syria or something, or is it like a direct connection to the terrorists in Hamas?
Yeah, the best way to put it is the terrorists have joined this council, United Resistance Council. The kind of like funny name people call it is the Islamic Army. So it was basically set up by Al-Qaeda, but all these terrorist groups joined and they share resources, money, funding. So like Al-Qaeda is a member of it, Julani's HTS is a member of it, and Hamas is a member of it. So here's a good way to explain how this works, okay? So obviously a bunch of Hamas terrorists got killed. So you have to reconstitute Hamas. How do you do that? You got to train new members. Where do you train new members? You're not training them in Gaza. You got to train them in Syria or Afghanistan. So if you train them in Syria, you have to train them in camps owned by Julani and HTS. If you train them in Afghanistan, he has camps there. You could use his camps there or Al-Qaeda's camps. So you allow HTS into your camps, you train them, you maybe give them weapons, some funding to help them reconstitute, because you're all a part of this council, that you're supporting each other's initiatives, because we all have a shared goal against the United States, Israel, the West, etc. Because they want, leaving now that they're starting to begin to form a Islamic caliphate, and they at least in their heads believe that's starting.
So you're saying Hamas isn't going anywhere? Like even if Netanyahu and the IDF eliminate Hamas in Gaza, which I don't know how they would know who's Hamas and who's not, because it's not like they wear uniforms or something. But if they believe that they've eliminated them, they haven't really eliminated them, right? Because they can just continue in another path through another country that's allied.
Yeah, a really good example is, so prior to October 7th, Hamas did send a bunch of terrorists to Afghanistan to train, and they trained in 6 terrorist camps. Now, because as we said, a lot of Hamas members really have been killed, they are now training in 12 terrorist camps in Afghanistan. So if you kill one Hamas member, you train 2 new ones. So unless they're going to start striking them or they're reconstituting, and that's not happening because the U.S. has stopped its strikes in Afghanistan, then Hamas will just keep reestablishing and growing itself, and then these other groups are obviously supporting in this effort. Now remember, this number really doesn't get discussed, but when those terrorists crossed into Israel, the number is somewhere in the 6,000-7,000 range. There weren't 6,000 and 7,000 members of Hamas crossing over. There's people who are like within the Taliban, these Syrian terrorist groups like
Hold on,
HTS.
y'all.
We know.
Hello. Hey, dear. What you doing? A couple hours ago. A few hours ago. Mm-hmm. No, you good. I really wanted to just, I was calling you on y'all. Hey. Oh, you're welcome, dear. I'm on live right now. Just doing some writing. Okay. I love y'all. How's the man doing? He's a whole week old. He's looking at you. What color are his eyes? What color are his eyes? What do they look like? Yeah, that's what he was looking to me too. Mm-hmm. All right, bro. Just a look. All right, sugar. Love you. All right. Good night. Bye. Sorry about that, you guys.
In October 7th, right? So also they were supplemented.
Y'all, this is crazy, right? Y'all listen to this? That was my son. Y'all was my youngest son. I was checking on my grandbaby earlier. You guys know I'm a grandma now. So, I check on that baby. But he's doing very well. So let's continue.
In the day of the attacks by other terrorist groups.
That's crazy. What does that look like for America? Because you had mentioned before that they are coordinating terrorist sleeper cells in America, and they want to do an October 7th style attack. What does that look like? I mean, I don't think they could take people hostage like they did in October 7th. Is it just a mass casualty situation, or do they think they're going to take land? You know, they're going to take a small town, or, you know, what do you think that's all about?
So what we've seen, at least with the plotting, I'd say there's three pieces. One's a large aviation plot again, and that they're just going to do suicide bombers on planes and drop them down, and that's for mass casualty. The goal is to kill 4,000 people. Then they want something, like you said, about almost a hostage and hold ground. That seems to be some sort of assault or attack on Washington, D.C., because they want to cripple the federal government's response. And then the last piece, they are going to go into our communities, unfortunately, like it was for October 7th. ISIS is leading that piece, and how they trained is in 5 to 10 man kind of urban assault teams, and they're going to attack like churches, supermarkets, hospitals, and they're going to do multiple locations at a time. So that'll be very difficult for law enforcement. And they're also going to either target law enforcement or look like law enforcement to fool civilians.
Yeah, I'm not liking any of these colors.
During the October 7th attack.
So I keep playing with them to see if I don't like them.
If this doesn't get forwarded, this will obviously be probably the biggest attack ever on the U.S. since Pearl Harbor. So it's a very, very scary situation. Now, when you talk about these groups, so you know how we say Hamas did October 7th? Well, now I told you all these different groups in this council are supporting this attack. So you're not going to have a cell of 5 Hamas members. That 5-person cell, let's say, which is they're really focused on veteran communities. Let's say they do Tampa. We're a big veteran community. So the 5-person cell will have maybe a Hamas member, an HTS member, an ISIS member, an Al-Qaeda member, and like a Taliban member. So that's what they want to do different here, because our government can't go after these cells when they're multiple groups. We're not even designed to confront terrorists that way.
That's crazy. I hope that it doesn't happen. I mean, people, you know, some of these veteran communities are stacked to the gill with guns. So hopefully they can have a reasonable defense. And that's another reason why I think America needs to get their head out of the rear end and understand that we can never give up our arms, because in a situation like that, you know, you go and invade Canada. I mean, they could take over a lot of real estate before the military can respond.
Yes.
In America, you got to worry about the hillbillies and you got to worry about the rednecks and some people that, you know, former military and police officers that can really put together an assault team themselves and take care of business. So I just wonder what the government is going to do. Do you think that they're going to be successful in this? Or do you think the government is equipped, ready under this administration or possibly the next administration to actually thwart something like this?
I think we haven't thwarted enough pieces. Like 2 senior leaders are dead, which is a good thing. I don't think we've picked up, though, like the attackers that are here, especially if it really is hundreds upon hundreds of them. So unfortunately, in my opinion, we're at a point where the plot is so far along. I do think pieces of it are going to happen. I hope the government leans in and at least can affect some parts.
I think I kind of like this one,
The
y'all.
aviation piece, right, is the easiest one for the government to stop. So I'd like to see them lean in more. But as you know, our focus is kind of the cartels now, the border. We classify what terrorism is, and we dropped the ball on Islamic terrorism. So when we say, oh, we arrested 200 terrorists this month, well, those are now Latin American cartel and gang members. They're not a terrorist from Saudi and Kuwait and Egypt and Jordan like we're going to see in this plot. And so I'm a little concerned that there is hubris that, Al-Qaeda can't pull this off. Bin Laden's sons aren't his father. And I am worried that we're going to be a little like Israel and downplay and not take serious what's coming. Because Israel never thought Hamas would do an attack like that, and that's why they were so unprepared when it happened.
Yeah, speaking of that, I don't know if you have any insight on this. I mean, Netanyahu is getting a lot of pushback, and even Charlie, rest his soul, had questions about their response. Now, I went to Israel, but we didn't go to the West Bank because it was, not the West Bank. We didn't go to Gaza, the Gaza Strip, because it's too dangerous. We were on a Christian tour with a church, so they were like, yeah, we're not going down there because, they could be lobbing rockets over here at any point. And so, do you think, and it's just a hypothesis, I don't think any of us really know, what do you think happened there? Because people are saying that it was 6 hours for them to respond. I don't know if that's like officially respond, or I don't know where the people are getting that number from, but it's allegedly it took them way longer than normal to actually respond to the terrorist attack. Was it because they got caught off guard, or was it something a little more nefarious?
Yeah, well, the 6 hours is a rumor. That isn't actually true. There are a couple things that affected response. Number one, first off, in that border area, they kind of left technology to run it, right? So technology is going to alert us if there's an incursion. Well, now we have thousands of people coming over. We don't really have bodies on the border anymore because we're using technology. Another thing is those communities near the border had these kind of civilian community watch teams, and they used to actually be better trained and armed, but as they put the technology in, they took a lot of the weapons from them and said, you don't really need this anymore. So when the attack happened, they had maybe 5 weapons for a whole community, okay? So that was a first line of defense, but it kind of had gone away over time. Then the terrorists actually struck first responders in both the first wave and the second wave. So in the first wave, they went straight up police stations and just went straight to the people who would respond to you and kill you. The other part's even smarter. So what they did is they had done pre-surveillance on how first responders are going to leave, like the routes they're going to take. They set up on the routes, and when the first responders left, they ambushed them on the routes and killed them. So it really hasn't been put out publicly, but a lot of first responders, military, etc., EMS died early on in the attack because they were initial targets.
I figured that because I saw that even in the death toll number, they were saying that there was IDF soldiers and others involved in a death number. And I think that's important for people to understand. I just think for some reason, Israel their PR is terrible. Like whoever is doing PR or trying to disseminate information on their behalf is just dropping the ball. I mean, you don't hear this publicly. You don't hear anything explained. You don't hear anything of the tactics that Hamas used. You don't hear any of the connections of Hamas and that this was a multi-front assault. Like I heard early on that they were planning on hitting them from multiple sides, but somehow the plan got thwarted and others backed out, and Hamas did the killing, and then that's how they got overrun. But I don't know if it was true or not, but I heard that they were going to try to attack from Syria, and they were going to try to attack from other places at the same time as this attack. Was that, do you have any information on that?
So the only thing that really didn't happen, so they staged in Syria. So the attack technically was from Syria. That's where the majority of the terrorists staged. Now, the one element that chose not to get involved that would have led to thousands of more deaths was Hezbollah's Radwan forces that I told you about. So they chose not to get involved. They would have been the northern assaults. So it would have been a lot worse by the terrorists. We would have now had 9,000 terrorists come over at once. But again, as you can imagine, just in the 6,000 range, there are not governments and communities who can handle that. I mean, could you imagine if even just 6,000 came over the southern border into those border communities, of what would happen?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, one shooter at a school or some of these places are hard to handle. They can be contained. It's only one. Imagine 3, 4 that have some type of training and tactical experience, that have a plan. I mean, it would be overwhelming. As a former police officer myself, we're not equipped. Local law enforcement is not equipped whatsoever to deal with some of this stuff. Even our SWAT teams are only 30, 40 people at a reasonable size agency. And, you know, so even the top guys, only 30 or 40 of them, you had 1,000 people at a time mobilizing. It'll be incredibly difficult to overcome that. And so, what are you optimistic about the future of America, or are we headed down a path of no return? Meaning that we're going to end up getting taken over by Islamic ideology. We're going to let anti-Semitism and hatred divide us in our country, racism and talks of hatred towards the government. Are we going to just be so splintered that the enemy can infiltrate either by, electronics, whether shutting down the grid, the cell phones, or they're going to, be able to get at us while we're looking this way on a terrorist attack that you explained before? What are you optimistic? Like, we got resolve enough to overcome this?
Yeah, I mean, what I focused on, and I've done this since January, is I'm going community to community, talking to sheriff's departments, the mayors, et cetera, governors in some states, to be like, hey, if the federal government drops the ball on this, right, it's on the community level. We need to respond. Like you said, a SWAT team, first off, is going to take 40 minutes to respond. Obviously, you can't do that in this type of attack. So we've at least been trying to talk about resiliency. Let's get ahead of this. Let's get to the post 9/11 mindset. But the negative is the culture of our country, as you know, is not 9/12, right? We're not all going to come together. And that's another thing we've been really trying to inform people. Like, when this happens, a lot of people are actually going to blame the government. And then we're going to become a lot more broken. There's going to be a lot more division, right? Because you're also not trusting your own party. So I am worried that we're going to have a rough patch if this plot goes through, unfortunately. And I do think our enemies will take advantage of us because we'll be weak in that moment.
So sad. It's so sad that this happened. I know you wrote a book. You co-authored Benghazi, Know Thy Enemy with Dave Benson. Is that what it is?
Yes, exactly.
So you wrote a book. You co-authored a book, Benghazi, Know Thy Enemy with Dave Benson. Can you tell us a little bit about that book?
Yeah, just long story short, back in 2015, me and Boone, from 13 Hours fame, realized the U.S. government wasn't actually going after and finding the terrorists that attacked us in Benghazi. So we did our own investigation on the ground in Libya and in Turkey to find them and identify them ourselves. So when we got to a decent spot of our investigation, as you can imagine, we found all these terrorists, and we're like, who do we give them to? And we didn't want to get in trouble by handing them to foreign government. So we put them inside of a book and distributed it so then we could give it to anyone we wanted, right? So that's why we put out that book. But we've done multiple investigations since now. We did one into Abbey Gate. We did one into October 7th. We did one into a lot of these fake ISIS attacks going on, et cetera. And those we've just all put out as free PDFs for the public so they can kind of get a better understanding of how all these terrorists are coming together and how they're working on joint operations together.
How can people find this content? I mean, I'm sure your book is probably on Amazon and anywhere you can buy books, but how do people follow you and follow what you guys are doing?
All right, y'all, let's move on to another.
Like, we need to be more aware of this. I feel
I
like
know.
we're
Let's
looking
see
over here
what other garbage is going on in the algorithm. Let me see. Female rap is trash. Yep. Agreed. Charleston White goes off on Cardi B. Let's listen to this show for getting pregnant by Stephon Diggs.
She's pregnant by Stephon Diggs. Didn't waste no time.
Didn't waste no time, child.
That's
Lord.
that HPV pussy.
No. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's the that's the herpes pussy.
Human
papilloma virus. You know, they give the kids so they give kids immunization shots for that now. So all young girls 12 or something in Texas have to have the HPV vaccine. Homie, listen.
He said she got HPV pum pum, y'all.
Any nigga that got 3, 4, 5 baby mamas, that means a lot of women raw. So he's susceptible to carrying some type of STI or STD. Dick too active with too many babies, with a history of raw dog. So Now she I thought she was way more sharp than that. No, she ain't. Yeah, she that's the broken hoe.
Yeah.
That's the broken hoe. She
my
have
God.
to have a man. Yeah, that's the broken hoe that have to have a man. That ain't a strong woman. That's why so many young girls and young ladies look up to her and admire. They all broken little hoes. And they enjoy being hoes. They just ain't getting a lot of benefit out of being a hoe.
Yeah, she's getting championed right now. A lot of women are praising her for moving on and not
multiple baby daddies. But you don't hear the Latino community praising. It's just black women. Because black women have multiple baby daddies. Mexican and white women don't. Julio put 4 or 5 babies in the. She got 2 different baby daddies. He got 7 different baby mamas. And all the kids around the same age. His kids will end up fucking with each other sexually. Because they spread it out. As a man, he's no matter how athletic he is and how well he's doing in football, he's a pathetic father. And every we've got to complain about it. Cardi gonna be complaining. Any kick them hoes ass. Any type of kick you in your ass and be kissing on them turtles, putting that dick off in you saying he's sorry. You made me do it. You see what you made me do? And be making you come while he blaming you for that. He that kind of
my God.
All them hoes, yeah. And he a freaksman. He like to. So she just a cum bucket. Yeah, Cardi B done turned into a cum bucket. Yeah, but she was a good housewife as a hoe. She was ready to be a housewife. She don't want to go back to this. She hates she having a baby. So she got to try to make it look good, homie. But no woman have ever been proud to be the other baby mama while we both pregnant. So, yeah, sure that both our babies, homie. She had to say it jokingly, not to cry. So I think 2 of those babies was born in wedlock, right? Offset baby, she was born in wedlock. The other baby gonna be a problem because it's a bastard baby. So you got a bastard baby and you got 2 children born in wedlock. You got 2 born in wedlock and you got 1 born out of wedlock while you're married. That's not Stephon Diggs' baby. That's Offset baby by law.
Ooh, child. Wow. No, he didn't.
That's his baby. And if I would have, I'd play dirty and claim the baby. Get a baby my name and mistreat it.
And mistreat it?
Buy all the, he get 1 toy for Christmas and my real kids get a bunch of toys. My kids get flown in on a helicopter for their birthday party and we doing the hot dog and chili and the cake and ice cream at the poor grandmama house for that baby. Yeah, that's how I would do that. Yeah. That got my wife pregnant, even we ain't together. Yeah. Nah, I don't think this is nothing to be proud of, homie. Just as a black woman, none of our black mothers would clap for this. Girl, you supposed to take time and get you together. Just as soon as your went up, you went and hit in the streets. You just had a baby. You didn't play mama. Who nurture these babies? Where the nurture come from? If you got time to and do, man, you out party having fun. Who nurturing these babies? What the positive male influence coming from? You getting your son her twisted up like this nigga. This is not a positive influence on your child. He ain't even in his own kid's life.
Dang.
He ain't even in his own kid's life. So, man, she was better off staying in that grass because it don't look like it's green over her.
Yeah, somebody said from a white.
He said she would have been better off staying in that grass. Y'all, this is not a good look for Cardi B. This is not. And I hope no girls are aspiring to be like this.
That's ass backwards, ain't it? That's ass backwards, ain't it? And I'm willing to bet ain't his baby. That baby got to be blood tested. There's some jaws got to be swabbed.
Some jaws got to be swabbed.
And that baby gonna be a C-section baby. That baby ain't gonna be able to come out that pussy. Got to get that baby out the bed.
Yo, I'm so happy you said that. So,
she can't. I'm telling you, that's not his baby. That's not his baby by law. That's not his baby. She was supposed to get all that undone. And then, homie, just from a spiritual aspect, how the kids get mistreated. That's how these two brothers or kids look at this one. Man, yeah, no. Because I guarantee, nigga, when that baby turn 10, they won't have a mutual respectful relationship. That nigga like to fuck hoes. She just playing cool right now with it. But nigga, once that baby get her, she ain't gonna be cool with that nigga having to go over there. Because when he go over there, he gonna be fucking one of them too, they baby mama. And niggas still fuck baby mama till them kids still be about 4 or 5 years old for y'all really start hating each other. But y'all still sneak and fuck with the hate love, out of convenience. So yeah, nah, nigga. So this was 10 steps back for the black women, especially for the ones who clapping, because most of the hoes who clapping got 2 or more kids, about 3 or more different niggas. That's a contaminated pussy. That's a contaminated pussy.
Speaking of,
dang, y'all.
Let's say 2-3 years ago.
Oh, that's tough.
You I'm lying. Shit, last year you had predicted Blueface and Christian Rock's baby.
The baby about 2 years old now, so it's been about 2 years.
Yeah, about 2 years ago, man. And I mean,
we go be a bobblehead.
Man, bruh, chill out. Chill out, man.
You never can't hold their head up. Some point they gotta be able to hold their head up and look up at you. But nigga, we I play a villain. And some of the things I say at times, I'm not saying gonna affect me, but I say, goddamn, nigga, shit. I say some shit. But then I say, well, nigga, you ain't saying nothing wrong. How you saying it is wrong, but how can the truth be wrong, even if it's said like this? If you don't say it like this, you say, hey, man, most black women don't do prenatal care. They don't pay attention, but you say, man, you stupid ass bitches don't even find out y'all pregnant till y'all 3 months. Still be drinking. By this time, you in your 2nd trimester. Man, you bitches arguing and fight. So, homie, even I'm saying it that way, but I'm highlighting the different trimesters throughout the pregnancy. That's important. Prenatal care, the lack of prenatal care. Homie, so yeah, I'm saying it fucked up, but nigga, it's the truth. So anybody who know anything about child development, child side, homie, you can clearly see that baby was gonna be affected. For one, the level of violence while she was pregnant, the different outbursts of anger. Nigga, and she was drinking. We was seeing her drinking in the club pregnant. We was seeing her smoking, and nigga, they was cheering for it. Nobody was shaming that behavior. Nobody's shaming Cardi B's behavior. A man have always done what Offset is doing. Women have not always done what Cardi B is doing. Women have always went and fixed them first, because if they fix them, it fixed the man problem. If women fix them, it fixed the man problem. Because now nigga got to pull his pants up and get some pussy. Nigga got to start opening car doors again. If they fix them, it fixed the weak man problem. They accepting these weak men. If they up the standards, then the standards won't be lower. But nigga, they lower the standards so goddamn low, they have to share us. Especially if you're a hell of a nigga. They have to share a hell of a nigga on. They just don't realize it yet. That's why their friends want to fuck with me. That's why, yeah, nigga, a hell of a nigga is rare. Especially for a woman to be bragging about it. Because very few women really brag about their men. Because most niggas don't give a bitch nothing to brag about other than some dick. So, yeah, nigga.
Yeah, I'm sorry about his language, but
I almost want my son to go,
and I don't always even agree with everything that he says, but like sometimes he is on point, y'all. Sometimes. Let's listen to this. This is talking about Michelle Obama and Barack Obama's relationship. Hold on, let's watch this. Let's listen to this.
Back just in time with this thing because you guys, Michelle Obama cannot help herself. She cannot. No amount of mockery of her or her lame podcast, no amount of criticism or coercion into maybe dialing this back because you're making yourself look terrible, lady, like terrible. But nothing's going to stop her from committing rhetorical, reputational violence against one Barack Obama. You're not going to believe this complaint, her latest complaint. Portnoy's complaint, her latest complaint. You know, I talked about this on Megyn Kelly's show with Megyn like a week ago, and we were talking about how they were photographed alighting on Steven Spielberg's yacht, like again last week, and Michelle got there first. They didn't go together. They didn't arrive together, and then 5 hours later, in comes Barack. And Barack seemed to be keeping solace with his laptop on board. Just saying. Okay. Now, I just want to say this, like, even if you're not a fan of Barack's, like, I promise you, this mini will melt the hardest of hearts as far as his plight goes. Now, this week on Michelle's podcast, her struggling, lame, unlistenable podcast. I picture this podcast as like, Michelle is like that cat in the house that just has a nasty disposition, and the cat is too old to like ever modify any of it. And the podcast stands as her metaphorical scratching post, and she's just scratching this thing raw, and she doesn't even realize that like it's like there's nothing left. Like this is all we're getting from her. She uses this podcast to just vent her grievances, which her grievances are legion, but her target is lone, and that's Barack, the man who made her rich and famous beyond her wildest dreams. And, you know, brother Craig, who serves as he's not even her co-host. Let's get real. He is, if you ever saw the Larry Sanders Show, he is the Hank to Gary Shandling's Larry. And if you've never seen the Larry Sanders Show, do yourself a favor. But yeah, no, he's the sidekick. He's the like fucking, you know, I'm just here to like get banged up by you. And as we're going to see here, brother Craig, my theory is coming to the fore here. He is visibly terrified of his sister. Visibly terrified. Now, these two are hosting renowned couples therapist Dr. Orna Guralnick, and I am a fan of Dr. Orna Guralnick's. I think this woman is brilliant. She has a reality show that is really more akin to a docuseries. It's called Couples Therapy. It's in its 4th season. It originated on Showtime. Now I think it's on Paramount Plus. She treats real couples in crisis, and she is truly gifted. This show isn't exploitative at all. Exploitative, I suppose is the word. But, you know, she's coming on Michelle's podcast. It's telling Barack's not there. I think that even a brilliant mind like Orna has assessed Michelle as beyond even her help. Okay, so we're gonna begin with we're starting with the introduction, just so you guys can see. Watch Brother Craig's eyes and watch them go. Like when you see the tops of somebody's eyeball and you see the whites there, that is an evolutionary sign of alarm. Take a look. Here we go.
You're looking good.
I feel good. I feel good.
Yeah, that's good.
Really?
So today's show is going to be a
Yeah. You know, one of my favorite topics and one of my favorite people.
Yes.
Talking about marriage, the challenges of marriage, and all that good stuff.
So Craig is like, he's like, today's gonna be a good show, right? Today's gonna be a good show. And Michelle, so that's his body language and her body language. And we heard you guys. We're gonna get Mark Bowden on again very soon. Don't worry. Michelle's body language is like she's hunched in, so she's closed off. She's like this. She's over. Her head is downward tilted. Her eyebrows are knitted. Her face is freezing that way. Yeah, it's going to be a great show. We got one of my favorite topics, marriage therapy. You know, Craig probably signed a contract. I'm sure he would really prefer to parachute right out of there. Now, here is, oh my God, Michelle is such a dark cloud. She shares on this podcast, and Craig's like, I didn't know this ever. Like, your mom talked to you like this? Michelle is talking about her mother telling her that at least once a year she thought about leaving Michelle and Craig's father. And she would often analogize marriage to a dark winter, a dark Chicago winter, by the way. There's no winter like a dark Chicago winter. And why her mother advised her against leaving that loser, Barack. Here we go.
During our conversations, you know, I'd get into the, how do you put up with men? And let me tell you what Barack did. And, you know, and she'd always say, you know, no one's perfect. You know, everybody brings their baggage to the table. And she used that example. She said every year, it was almost like she had to renew her faith in her marriage. And springtime was that time. It was probably, as I think about it, it's like you're sort of trapped in the winter, the dark, long winter of Chicago where nobody's going anywhere because it's just too cold. And then it starts to warm up. And, you know, she always had that spring cleaning ritual too.
Right.
She would have gotten the house ready for the new season. And it was probably her ritual of kind of shedding all the stuff from the winter, including thoughts of her husband.
Oh my God. Michelle is really, I'm just going to say it, she's fucked up. That's how she's talking about her own father. In public with her brother who has to laugh along out of, you know, a survival instinct, let's get real. I mean, that is some really dark stuff. Spring cleaning is usually about renewal. Like you're opening the windows, you're letting fresh air in, the days are getting longer. It is traditionally, for those of us who are psychologically with it and healthy, a happy time. Not for Michelle. Anyway, you may have heard this from the horse's mouth, but her marriage isn't perfect, you guys.
People look at our marriage as the ideal, you know, because in
they don't. Not anymore.
World,
you killed that.
You know, you see two loving people doing a hard thing in the world, you know, always on stage, giving each other a hug after a big speech.
And making it look easy.
Right.
And it's not.
Brother
And a lot of young people could look at that and go, I want a marriage like Michelle and Barack.
Right.
And it's like, well, let me talk about what marriage is, you know, because it's, even when it looks good, even when it's great, it's hard. And so I think it's important because, you know, it's very easy to quit on a marriage.
Michelle, just quit on the marriage, okay? Just quit on the marriage. We know you're miserable because you use every available opportunity to tell us so. And then she's like, you know, people want to be us. no matter how much I talked shit about this loser over here, first black president of the United States, duly elected twice, made us multimillionaires with 4 states around the continental United States. Oh, and Hawaii, so 3 and 1 rather. It's very hard. It's very hard to live in the White House and have a staff of foot soldiers and have the mainstream media laud you as one of the most beautiful, successful to ever be a first lady, and then to exit with a ton of goodwill and sign book deals worth $60 million. It's really hard. Shut up. Now Michelle is doing something real. I think this is unforgivable. I don't think Barack Obama has ever spoken about this. I could be wrong, and if I am, I'm wrong. But even so, it's always his story to tell, not yours, Michelle, okay? Here, she outs Barack Obama going to therapy.
Barack and I've done individual therapy, we've done couples therapy. There's just a way to, as I was saying in our earlier conversation, to, bring our marriage down to reality for people.
Listen, Michelle, none of us give a shit about your marriage. We're not invested. We don't care. I don't care if you stay married. I don't care if you get a divorce. I mean, frankly, I think I speak for many when I say we would love it if you got a divorce, because this now just feels sad, pathetic, mean, and full of vengeance. And it is not a good look, okay? You look very small. And I frankly don't understand why Barack hasn't begun divorce proceedings, because trust me, the world would be cheering him on. Now, Craig's going to get a little shiv in, okay? Craig knows what's up. He knows what's up. We're going to hear about what Barack Obama's... They're talking love languages, okay? I think, as I've said before, the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. And I think Barack is displaying indifference. I think Barack presents to me, I know he was president, and I know you got to, fight a lot of battles and get in the mud to get there. I know you do, but Barack interpersonally presents to me as conflict avoidant. I think within the 4 walls of the family home, he presents to me as conflict avoidant. Let's listen.
Well, your love language is talk, and if talk isn't his love language, he doesn't want to go to the edge of anything, because he just wants you to hold him. That's the experience he wants, or he wants you to just leave him alone.
No, sorry, that's
the
Barack.
Experience he wants with his wife.
I'd like to know. His love language is solitude.
Craigers getting in there. His love language is solitude. And look at Craig's body language. He's pivoting away from Miss Misery over here. Barack's love language is solitude. It's solitude. It's his Apple laptop and it's earbuds. Okay? And it's being on Steven Spielberg's yacht 500 yards away from this stink cloud over here. Now to the big complaint. Michelle's Portnoy's complaint. Her latest gripe against one Barack Obama. You guys aren't going to believe it. If you haven't seen the headline, I envy you, because this is a banger. Here we go.
Because how many times somebody asks, what are you thinking about? And you're like, well, let me make up a thing, because I don't want to actually tell you what I was thinking about
right now.
Which was the way you're chewing makes me want to smack you upside the head.
That's why guys don't want to have
Would that be an edge?
That would be an edge. And that would be really interesting. You could open something up there in a big way.
Why is your chewing annoying me so much?
Right.
Let's discuss.
Michelle says in this pod that it's not just her who is disturbed to no end by the sound of Barack masticating. It also affects and offends their 2 daughters. All 3 of the girls cannot stand Barack Obama's chewing. I don't buy it. And by the way, if I'm Barack Obama, I'm saying F off, because none of you are living the lives you're living without me. I'm the one who's been putting food on this table, so F off.
Because the girls and I talk about
it's a thing.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Because the girls and I are very irritated with the way Barack chews.
Oh my!
Craig's like, oh my God. Like Craig is feeling it, you know? Craig, get out. Okay, save yourself. You think this is how she talks about her husband. You don't think you're next? And by the way, here we go. Here's a little taste of what's to come, Craig, because she's laughing at you. Here we go.
But why does it annoy us? Should we, is that a statement of something deeper?
And if it doesn't annoy you, is that a statement of something deeper?
No.
That's not fair.
Wrong again, Craig Robinson.
That's not fair.
Sorry. You got one more strike, and then you'll have to leave the table.
Michelle is disparaging him. She's like, your question is dumb. His question wasn't dumb. He's just trying to play ball. And he's not going to bring up any of his own marital issues in his first marriage or his current marriage. He's not playing this game. You know why? Because he's smart, okay? There's one person at that table not talking shit about their spouse. And it's not... Okay, now, Orna has a question. And her question is basically, hey, lady, do you get joy out of anything? Did anything make you happy? Here we go.
I wanted to ask you guys earlier, like, what makes you feel alive? What makes you feel like you're present in the life I live, which is so abnormal now?
Yeah.
It's really, it's like being outside. You know, I mean, I say this a lot, something that comes with fame that people don't, that they don't appreciate, they're not cautious of, is the loss of anonymity.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard for Barack and I to just be in the world unobserved.
Yeah.
And as a couple, so much of your interaction just happens because you two are experiencing the world together, sitting in a park and watching life go by, you know, stopping at a cafe and getting a cup of coffee, and then the conversation turns to the conversation next to you, right? We're always the conversation next to the people we're sitting, right?
Oh my God. Listen, Michelle, if you don't like the attention, nobody's forcing you to do this podcast at gunpoint. Nobody's forcing you to take millions of dollars for book deals. Nobody's forcing you to go yachting with Steven Spielberg or sign Netflix deals. Nobody's forcing you to do anything. You don't like being famous, and I love it when people who are famous, who fought for fame, who then complain about being famous, go, you know what, you idiots out there who aren't famous don't understand about how hard it is to be famous. Hey, you can exit right anytime you like. There have been plenty of first ladies who exited the White House and went back and lived quiet, productive lives without the need to be in front of a microphone or a camera bitching about their husbands. Laura Bush, for example, when do you ever hear from her? Get out! Get out! And that, my friends, that, until Michelle's next issuance of bullshit, is our catharsis. That is our catharsis. And that does it for our mini nerve. That does it. We will see you back here next week for our first week of 3 full weekday episodes. Remember, The Nerve at Night drops Wednesday around 5 p.m. Eastern Time. That is the new schedule from here on out, and we have you troublemakers to thank for that. We're so happy to be doing another episode. There's too much stuff. As you see, we struggle to cram it all in. So thank you for that, and we will meet you right back here on Tuesday at The Nerve, where you will never guess what we're about to say next. Do you trust the seafood you bring into your home? Do you question ever the nutrition, the taste, or the sustainability? Well, have you tried Wild Alaskan Company? I have, and I love them. Wild Alaskan is the best way to get wild-caught, perfectly proportioned, nutrition-dense seafood delivered directly to your door. Their fish is 100% wild-caught and never farmed, which means there are no antibiotics, GMOs, or additives. You are just getting clean, real fish. And you're also supporting healthy oceans and fishing communities. Wild Alaskan fish is frozen off the boat to lock in taste, texture, and nutrients. It's sustainably sourced and wild caught from Alaska, and your membership delivers flexible shipments, expert tips, and truly feel good, taste great seafood like my favorites, sockeye salmon and Pacific cod. You can try it risk-free, 100% money-back guarantee. Not all fish are the same. Get seafood you can trust. Go to wildalaskan.com/nerve for $35 off your first box of premium wild caught seafood. That's wildalaskan.com/nerve for $35 off your first order.
Okay, y'all, I think I'm at a good stopping place here. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. We've been gone for 2 hours, which is very, very good. So we're doing our thing. We're making progress. So as you can see, I've made great progress on building out this page, just kind of revamping it a bit, changing the look and feel, the layout, and all that good stuff. So, and that took me 2 hours to do. So, I guess that's not too bad. What do y'all think about that? Does it seem like it took me forever? And y'all saw how I just kept playing with it. I kept going back and forth with the look and all that stuff. So we're steady making progress here. I was putting all the digital products in and the memberships into onto the platform. So we've got that in there, and I think we're looking good so far. This should be ready to launch. I want to say by like November, we'll have this relaunched, and I'll have to load up, all of the contents in there. As you can see, most of it is just like space keepers right now, just to hold the spot for when I get the content uploaded to each individual, I don't know, hub, I guess. I'll just call it a hub. Okay. So this is where we are now. We're, steady making progress. And we've got this in here. Let me see. Let me upload that again because that doesn't look right. Let me see with my media, because I know I've got it in here. Let me see. Objectify. Yeah, so I just moved that up, and I don't think I can really adjust that at all. So let me just move that down a little bit so you can tell that's a toaster. You can tell. Let me see. Yeah, that's going to be the best way to do it right there, I guess. Okay, so we've got that. I want to make sure that name was visible. So anyway, so this is where we are now. I think we're, making good progress, and we're just gonna keep on going with it, you guys. Just steady making progress. I'll get all these the contents of these books uploaded. Objectified is not out yet. That's actually and I gotta change that too, because it's no longer volume 2 in the series. It's actually volume 3 now in the series. Volume 2 is written and volume 3 is written. And so my next big task is to finish up my book proposal. I've already begun doing that. Finish up my book proposal and get this my proposal submit to some literary agents so that I can get traditionally published. See if I can get a book deal, y'all. So make sure y'all keep your girl in your prayers. And as I'm steady making progress and doing the things that I love to do, and that will change your lives, y'all. As you can see, there's not very many places that that teach discernment, that really is focused on discernment. But I mean, if we're being honest, we know that it's definitely something that we need right now, that is missing in a lot of our lives. And it's not like it's missing; it's just not activated. It's not practiced. It's not it's a muscle that hasn't been exercised. And so in the School of Discerners, I'll teach daughters all of those things. Teach daughters how to discern, how to activate their gift of discernment, and how to use that to make the best decisions of their lives, in relationships and finances and faith, in jobs, employment, all of those things. So that's where we are now, and I think we're doing good, you guys. Just steady making progress. You know, when you're doing something like this, it's a whole lot of behind the scenes that's involved in it, and you know, sometimes people don't know, and so they don't really appreciate the hard work and dedication that you've put into creating a space for them to really enhance and transform their lives. And so we'll get that out. We'll let the girls know, honey, that the School of Designers is it's on its way. So again, in the chat, let me know what you were working on, what progress you've made. As you can see, we're making some really good progress. So I'm excited about what's to come. As you can see, look, see how there when you click on the website, you can go get on the mailing list. I'm already on the mailing list, so we're going to exit out of that. And as you can see, this is how it looks once it's big and, you know, on the page. Once you click on the website and see. So this is what we have so far, y'all. We're doing good, making progress. I got to check all my links, make sure they still work proper, and all that stuff. Now, why is it sending me to the main page? It shouldn't be sending me there. It should be sending me straight to the actual book content. So, or the actual books. So the merchandise. But yeah, so this is where we are. Steady making progress. And I pray that you all are making progress in the things that you are trying to create and what you're working on. Please like the video on your way out. Yeah, just get in the comments and let me know what you're working on. Let me know if these writing sessions are helping you. And remember, you are important to me. I need you to survive. I love you. Bye-bye for now.